people talking, and a lot of the times when I've said about artists that you think of that are very taboo, that you admit to liking, and this grinds my gears because I think this band are fantastic, and I've seen them live twice. Nickelback.
You've seen them live?
I've seen them live twice.
Oh, that's
They
cool.
they're very solid. They don't break any barriers. They're a hard rock band.
Yeah.
They play hard rock music.
Yeah.
They had their peak. They are now very much in the latter stage of their careers, and for those that don't know, they are still going and still releasing decent music.
Yeah. Yeah.
They had their peak of about 4 albums in the mid early 2000s.
Yeah.
Yeah, just throughout the 2000s, I
It
think
was
it was.
probably, yeah, pretty much
Like
like,
Silver Side Up, All the Right Reasons, Dark Horse. There was a good period of time in the
yeah.
2000s when they released absolute bangers, but I feel like because they are quite vanilla and because of certain songs, maybe songs like Photograph, I think they get heckled for
Yeah.
because it is cheesy
Yeah.
and it is cringe to listen to. But should I feel guilty for listening to Nickelback? I absolutely do not think so.
So going back to like what I said earlier with like My Chemical Romance and emo and stuff, I feel like sometimes this might be lost on younger people who weren't really like around or aware at the time, but Nickelback were despised. They were like the joke, the butt of the joke for everything.
They recognise their own hatred as well.
Yeah, they've leaned into it a lot more, and for it, I think the quality has dipped a bit. To be fair, I think when they were kind of playing it 100% serious was when they were really like in their stride. For me, Nickelback, it's the same. Like growing up, everyone would come turn around to you and say, "Oh, what an awful band! What a terrible band! Terrible music! It's all this formulated bollocks, the poses." And then I'd nod my head and go, "Yeah, yeah, I agree, agree." Put my headphones in and pop on Sunday by Nickelback.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or like you can't deny, and I know it's not the most musically complex thing you've ever heard, but you listen to Animals by Nickelback, and that's a pumping song.
I've never liked that one. To be
Have you not? Oh,
I've
fair
never
enough.
liked that one.
But like certain songs like that, it kicks, and I feel like
I think
the
that's where the cringe factor comes in because remember in that song where he's like singing about banging his girlfriend in the back of the car,
and the
and
dad comes
yeah,
along,
yeah, it
and
just seems it's like
it's
that's
very,
never happened to you.
it's
Never happened. You're
it's
lying.
it's your lying. It's very cheesy, and I fully appreciate that. But then again, I line it up and go musically. They're a bit heavier than say bands like the Foo Fighters, and the lyrics are maybe a bit more cringe. But ultimately, are they mad different from a really really popular and universally loved band like the Foo Fighters? There's not like a massive difference, and I don't think they deserve the huge hate. I'm not saying they're the same as the Foo Fighters, but I just think they're both hard rock bands,
Yeah,
and they're both viewed completely differently. I feel like a lot of people get chastised for saying a bad word about the Foo Fighters,
yeah,
but it's almost culturally acceptable. It's
yeah.
culturally encouraged
It is. Yeah,
to
yeah,
to dislike Nickelback,
yeah,
and I can't tell you the amount of times I have been laughed at or ridiculed for saying, "Oh yeah, I like Nickelback," but I say it with pride because do you know what? Like they're not my favorite band in the world,
yeah,
obviously, but I don't think there's anything wrong with listening to Nickelback. There's some stuff I can't listen to anymore. There's some tracks I will choose to skip, like Photograph, for example. If I'm in the right mood, I love a bit of Nickelback. And
yeah.
there's no wrong with that.
I think the issue is, and this is something I am going to bring up a bit later, is when it comes to separating the art from the artist. I think the problem a lot of people had with Nickelback was what they had with the lead singer Chad Kroger. He came across as very like obnoxious. He did kind of look cringy with his get up and his kind of pop noodle hair and stuff like that. I think that's where a lot of the problems came from, and I think the problem is like going back to My Chemical Romance at download is you get in an awkward spot where you're not poppy enough for a pop crowd, but you're not rock enough for a rock crowd, and you get
Yeah.
caught in this crossfire. Because I remember there was a famous like footage from a Nickelback gig years back where they got pelted on stage as
Yeah.
well, and
He
it's
got hit
kind of
by a
like
rock or something,
yeah,
didn't
and he's
he?
like, you guys want to rock out, or do you want us to go home? You didn't help yourself there, mate, because
But
the responses. But
I
yeah, I
get I
think
get what you mean by the middle ground though. Like maybe Nickelback's hate is because they changed their style slightly and went a bit more pop rock to appeal to a wider audience,
I
and do you
think
think that's why they got chastised? Because the Silver Side Up album doesn't really sound too similar to like say Dark Horse.
I think
Like there was a
yeah,
change,
I think people were just a bit too onto what they were doing. I think it's out there and it's pretty public knowledge that Chad Kroger openly admitted that he studied popular music and best-selling music, and he basically just gathered it all and incorporated it into his music.
which in theory is I guess is a form of selling out, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's it, and
Which
that's a whole
I hate
can
that.
of worms.
I
Yeah,
hate that
yeah,
term in general. I really hate that term.
yeah.
But
It's an
it is
entire
what
can
it
of
is,
worms,
and
that, isn't it? Yeah,
it does alienate your core fan base that you've built
yeah.
when you start doing things like that, or being perceived to do things like that, should I say?
Yeah, I think that's the problem. I think people were just a bit too. I think it was just a bit too on the nose. I think would be the best thing to say.
Yeah,
It was a bit too kind of, yeah, you're hamming it up a bit, and it didn't feel genuine or honest. It was just like we're making consumable food again. It's the McDonald's, and to me that's fine because, as I say, we all enjoy a bit of fast food. We all
yeah,
enjoy a bit of stuff that not everything has to be like sophisticated or deeply thought out or have this really strong message. And I think that's what pop music is great for. But again, I think they just got caught in the crossfires of they're a rock band that are too heavy for people who enjoy top 40 hits radio,
yeah,
and they were too poppy and too mainstream, so to say, for the alternative rock gang.
yeah,
I think dads and boomers hadn't really clocked onto them yet,
yeah,
because I think their music caters more to them than it would to our generation. And I think it was just a bit of a, caught in a hard place with them,
yeah.
really.
I get that.
Fascinating topic, though,
It is.
Nickelback.
You could talk a long time about it. They had a formula. They still have a formula. Like what they do is what they do. You listen to Nickelback, you know what you're gonna get.
Feed the Machine, which is one of their more recent songs from
Yeah,
either an album or two ago. That goes hard, that, I'm not going to lie.
they've got some bangers, man.